The full moon made long, spooky shadows on the flat, dusty ground of Chihuahua, Mexico. The night was calm, with a gentle breeze that carried the scent of the desert. The moonlight bathed everything in a silvery glow, creating an almost magical atmosphere. Crickets sang their song all night long. Their rhythmic chirping was the soundtrack of the desert, a constant reminder of the life that thrived even in the harshest conditions. The air smelled like desert plants and felt cold, making people shiver. The chill in the air was a stark contrast to the scorching heat of the day, a reminder of the desert's extremes. Don Miguel, a tough man used to working hard in the hot sun, didn't mind the desert night. He was a man of the land, resilient and strong, shaped by the harsh environment he called home. He was happy, carrying a clay jug of fresh goat's milk. The simple pleasures of life brought him joy, and tonight he had a reason to celebrate. Tonight was a party, something special in their small village near Chihuahua. The villagers had gathered to celebrate, their faces lit up with excitement and anticipation. Happy sounds and music from his neighbor's party filled the night, very different from the usual quiet. The air was filled with laughter and the melodies of traditional songs, creating a festive atmosphere that brought everyone together. As Don Miguel walked around a corner on the dusty road, he suddenly felt scared. The party music seemed far away. The air felt heavy and scary. Then he heard it, a low, sad whistle coming with the wind. It was a spooky tune, sad and chilling, unlike anything he'd heard before. His heart beat fast, like a drum. The whistle got louder, closer, making him more and more scared. The hair on his neck stood up. He walked faster, holding the milk jug tightly. He walked around another corner and his heart stopped. The night was eerily silent, with only the sound of his own footsteps echoing through the empty streets. There in the moonlight was a scary figure, like something from a bad dream. It stood motionless, casting a long dark shadow that seemed to stretch endlessly. It was Silbón, the whistling man, a ghost from the local stories. The tales spoke of his eerie whistle, a sound that could chill anyone to the bone. Tall and skinny, the figure was much taller than Don Miguel, wearing a ripped cloak that didn't hide its bones. The cloak fluttered slightly in the night breeze, revealing more of its skeletal form. A big hat covered its face, but Miguel felt it stare, cold and empty. The hat's brim cast a shadow, making it impossible to see the eyes, yet the feeling of being watched was undeniable. The whistling stopped. It was super quiet, making Miguel's heartbeat even louder. The silence was so intense it felt like the world had paused, waiting for what would happen next. He couldn't move, too scared. His legs felt like they were made of lead, and his mind raced with thoughts of escape, but his body refused to obey. Then slowly Silbón reached out a bony hand holding a burlap sack. The sack seemed to writhe and move, as if something inside was desperate to get out. Don Miguel ran. He ran as fast as he could, his feet pounding against the forest floor, echoing in the stillness of the night. The trees seemed to close in on him, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. He could only hear his own breathing and his heart beating, a frantic rhythm that matched his growing fear. Each breath was a struggle, each heartbeat a reminder of the terror chasing him. He didn't look back, but he couldn't forget how Silbón looked in the moonlight. The figure's haunting silhouette was burned into his memory, a ghostly image that would never fade. He ran into his house, slammed the door, and locked it. His hands trembled as he fumbled with the lock, desperate to shut out the horror that lurked outside. Everything was quiet again, except for his breathing. The silence was almost deafening, a stark contrast to the chaos that had just unfolded. The next morning he went outside and saw huge footprints in the dust, going right up to his door. They were impossibly large, each step a testament to the creature's presence, but there were no footprints going away. It was as if the creature had vanished into thin air, leaving only fear and confusion in its wake. The story of Silbón, once just a scary campfire story, was now real for him. The legend had come to life, turning his world upside down. We all have our own El Silbón, our own scary things. They may not be as tangible, but they haunt us just the same, lurking in the shadows of our minds. What scares you in the dark? Is it the unknown, the unseen, or the stories that have been passed down through generations? What makes noises when the lights are off? The creaking floors, the whispering winds, or perhaps something more sinister? The fear of the unknown is a powerful thing.